But now I'm going to look at things from a employer's perspective. I'm going to look at things from the other side of the coin. And I can imagine all the business owners out there and all the managers and bosses out there who are saying, you want to try, and you want to try to find your passion, but I don't pay you to try. I pay you to do work. So what's your take on that? What do you say to those managers and to those business owners?
In my personal view, when someone is more passionate and they really love what they do, they tend to do things a lot better. And if they wanted someone, like, because you as an employer, you have the choice to hire whoever you want to hire and whoever you want to reject. That is your choice, and is your right. Completely fine. Like us, if we apply for jobs, you don't want us, that's absolutely fine. But if you want someone to just follow your instructions all the way, then maybe you should have hired that person then. Maybe you should have hired someone that would be willing to just take your orders and then just do what is necessary. Because if you hire someone who has that creativity to, hey, think of other different solutions or other different ideas, but you don't like that, maybe you shouldn't have hired them in the first place.
I think the other aspect for all the young people who are listening to this is also as an employer. And to be very honest, like I said, I've got nothing against passion because we built our business on passion. But I've also grown sometimes a little bit suspicious about hiring purely based on passion. In fact, sometimes when we hire, we look for indications of discipline first. Because there have been too many times that we've hired for passion. And then you spend a lot of time teaching and so on and so forth, coaching, developing, and then a year down the road, say, it's not my thing. I've sort of discovered that it's not my thing, and then they leave. And that's why you have a lot of employers who specify, a certain number of years of experience before as a requirement for the job, and that's just to make sure that, hey, you've done your trying with somebody else, right? But also during times like this, I suppose employers have got a lesser tolerance for trials, because it's money is burning every single day. The crisis is really putting a dampener on even employers to try out a new person, and that's bad. That's just bad for everybody. But what about job security, guys?
Definitely. Personally, for me, and I know there's a not really great, I won't say great number, but there's a greater number of people that don't think about it. They don't have that forethought to think about job security. They're just like, I'll just do it, I don't care. But I like to research a lot about the passion I'm going into, like a lot, like to the point where I basically know I have a very big vocabulary on the subject, to the point where I understand what I'm getting myself into. And job security for me especially, it's a very important thing. It's like sometimes you can love something so much, but it doesn't love you back. Just like
sad.
Just like in any relationship, you just get friend zoned by your career. But I think that's where it comes into. That's why it comes into being realistic about your passions, in the sense that
right. And
yeah.
that's a really important point there. I love the fact that you made that point, Nick. You're breaking my heart, but that's a really important part, right? So you might love your passion, but passion may not love you back. So sometimes you got to be realistic. Whether your passion is enough to be a career, and the reality is you may not be good enough at your passion for it to become a career. In which case, it can still be a passion. Keep it as a hobby. Keep it as the love of your life. But don't try to make a career out of it, because then you're setting yourself down the road of failure, disappointment, frustration, anger, and so on and so forth, right? Those of you who want to be like Pauline and Nick, you want to chase your passions and turn that into a career and look away from the traditional work. You've got to understand that it one may not love you back. You might not be able to make a career out of it, in which case you might need to find another passion to pursue as a career.